Hello. So we're just going to wait a few minutes while people come into the room. And Phil, nice to see you. Oh, okay. This is going to be fun. In a few minutes, I'm going to put in a copy of the presentation, and but let's just let a few people come in. And yeah, just put into the chat where you're from, how you're doing. Uh, for anybody who is in southwestern Ontario, we are having an absolutely beautiful afternoon here, so that's a win. So fun that it is a Canadian one. Okay, so we've got someone from Ottawa. So Phil says hi, Kelly. Hi, Phil. Um, so Ottawa, as you know, you're generally, what, half a day behind us in the weather. And so you are in hopefully for the same beautiful afternoon that we have going on here. Oh, we got somebody from Saskatchewan and Kelowna. So we are really all over the place. Oh, Danielle, and I'm sure you can all see that. Danielle is in Punta Cana. Very nice. Yeah. Very nice. We got Saskatoon, and this is fun. The only time that I really get to do the Canadian content webinars is for CPB Canada. I know some of you are members of CPB Canada, so that is the Certified Professional Bookkeepers of Canada. I don't get to do a whole lot of, kind of Canadian content only, so this is kind of fun. And we'll get started. And one of the things that I realized I forgot to do was put in a slide letting people know who I am. And I do see lots of people that I don't know. So thank you for joining us. My name is Kellie Parks. I am a certified professional bookkeeper here in Canada with CPB Canada. And I love being a bookkeeper. I think that memo has gone out. And I love cloud technology. Oh, there's Lynn. Hi, Lynn. So we've got some CPB people in here. I love cloud accounting technology as well, and all of the possibilities it opens up for us and our clients. So today should be fun because I get to yak on about Financial Sense, which is hi, Lori, which is a cloud program for managing our practice. So practice management, client management, all the usual stuff. So anyways, that's the skinny on me, Kelly. And why don't we just get on with the webinar? Put any questions you have into the chat as we go along. And right now you should be looking, and let's just slide this out of the way. You can't see, but I had a thing. Okay, so Financial Sense, streamlining your processes and grow your Canadian bookkeeping firm. And I went all out on Canada today. I've got my red cushion going on. I've got like a super, oops, I can't do that. My mic isn't working and I'm connected with my old school things, but I've got a Canadian blanket going back there. I decided to go all in on the theme. Okay, so streamline your processes. That's us. This is what we're going to talk about today. And already I have a fail in that my slide thing or mover thing didn't want to work. Shelley, where are you in Florida? Very nice. So agenda. Today we are going to talk about, so the reason for this webinar is Financial Sense has some new Canadian features. And we want to talk about those. And I also am going to talk about things that relate to GST and PST, how I'm handling some of the, well, I don't handle PST, how I'm handling some of the things that are uniquely Canadian for us in here. But we're going to start with the Canadian storage. Yay, Canadian storage. We are going to talk about the Canadian pricing. We are going to talk about taming the QBO sales tax module. I know some of you already know how to control that sales tax module, but I would like to take a little road trip and just for anybody who is unsure of what this whole out of scope exempt purchases and exempt sales thing is about, we're going to talk about that today. I am going to talk about the GST, PST, and WSIB workflows. I do not do PST, but you can take what we talk about with GST and then modify it in your workflows. We are going to talk about the Canadian task client list. It is somewhat different from how our US friends would be using it, because we do need to gather those source documents and then we need to do something with those source documents. So we're going to talk about how we manage that so that we are not manually entering that data into our clients' files. And then we are going to talk about not all the financial sense features, that would be days, but I'm going to talk about a few little things that help me out along the way. So first, I want to do a fun little bit of building for workflow efficiency. Some of you have seen this, but I just want to talk about it and do a quick little demo. And let's hope my demo goes well. Live demos are always a bit dodgy. So in Financial Sense, it does have AI. So you can ask it to create a workflow, but you can also upload workflows from a document or from a spreadsheet if you already have them in other formats. Those two formats, it is amazing for uploading them. And all you need to do is copy them, open or start a project or a template, start a task, and then paste it in. I am going to show you how that works right now. So we are going to, this is going to be the base tasks. We are simply going to copy them. And then we are going to create a new project, and we are going to do it just for, oops, I meant to do, see, what did I say about live demos? We're going to create it from scratch. We are going to be very creative, and we're going to call it test. And then let's take a run through how you set these up. We can have a start date. So let's just make it today. It is for this client. This is where we can make it recurring. I'm not going to, because I don't want this to be repeating. But what I like is that I actually start things on the first Monday. I don't start things on the weekend. I have my projects all start on a Monday. Again, I am not going to do that. Let's do that just for a second, just so I can show you. And then this is really important to me. Right here, if you select an accounting period, what it will do is it will give you a date in the title of the project as it recurs every month. So we're generally working a little bit in the past. If we are starting a project on, let's start this tomorrow. So let's make it December 1st. Then the month that we're probably working in is December. And the year is in November. And then it is the year. And if we do that and we create it, what am I? Oh. We're going to give that, for me, that would be due around that. Let's make it the 10th of the month. We're going to create that. And now you can see the date. I love this because when I look at a project, I know exactly what the month it is that we are working in. So I do love that we have that accounting period in there. Okay, so now I want to create that task list. You saw that I copied it from the Excel sheet, and now I'm just going to paste it in. And there are the base tasks right away. And then within those, we need subtasks. So I am just going to copy the subtasks. We go into one of the tasks and we put it into subtask, and boom, it creates the subtasks for us. This is incredibly useful if you like to think in a spreadsheet and get the basics of a task in and then upload it, which I actually really do like to do, and then upload it. And then you can go in and nuance all of the things that you want to do to it. You can add assignees, whatever the case may be. But I just wanted to show you that also, if you are moving from a former program, this is also useful because you can download the CSV of workflows, and then you can copy them and integrate them or upload them into Financial Sense in, as you just saw, like minutes. Again, like I mentioned, if you want to noodle ideas in a spreadsheet and then move on to add them to Financial Sense. So let's talk about Canadian storage. So we need a gratuitous Canadian photo because it is a Canadian session. So we got the snow coming. Actually, we got lots of snow here right now. So Financial Sense has data centers located in both the United States and Canada. In fact, they have international data centers. It is not just in the United States anymore or just in Canada. So I'm not sure if anybody's listening from Australia or anywhere, but they have now multiple countries with sites. When you first get your Financial Sense file, it is the United States by default, but we can store them in Calgary on our Canadian-based server. What you need to be aware of is that the files that if you are an ongoing user of Financial Sense, any of the files or data that you already had in Financial Sense is not going to be moved to that Canadian storage site. It's kind of from today on. That is when the changes will be made. So it's not going to go back and change them in the past. What it is going to do is it is going to change them now. And the place that you do that is right here. You go to settings, and then you go to company. And under company, scroll down, and right here is where you can see what your options are for the data storage. Okay, so that's that. Any questions on the data storage? I know it was fairly simple. Okay, so we've got instructions. The slide deck will be provided afterwards. And okay, so there is for anybody who is doing it after the fact. And then I want to take a quick video. I did not want to demo this because I want to make sure that we get this all squared away, but I do have a video on some other use of Financial Sense settings. So let's just play that video. Okay, yeah, I wondered about the sound. I was having trouble with it earlier, so let's see if this works better. You can hear me, correct? So it is because my computer decided earlier today to be a bit of a dink and is just giving me all kinds of trouble here. So I will do, and just bear with me, I will do this live. Oh dear. And as I said, that does not always go well. So let's do a demo of things. So let's just start with what we're in. Get your company logo in there, your company name, and then there are lots of great changes coming to the client portal. So make sure that you go in right now and get your custom URL in, that you get your brand colors in, and that you start to make that portal feel more like it is your own. Again, there's going to be more changes. Then this is where you will set up the company-wide automations. And so I love that you can close a project as soon as all the tasks are marked complete. Let's just see what that looks like. Actually, let's go back into this one because I need to edit this project because I really don't want it to be recurring. So let's just make it recurring. And then I have set up so that when I click off all of the tasks, it closes the project for me. And then of course we get the famous confetti burst, which I never get tired of. I love the confetti burst. Okay, so back into settings. Mark task completed, mark task when the subtasks are completed. Although I believe mightily in going through and checking off the work as you are doing it, not when you are done doing it. If we slip up and that's what we do, then we don't need to go back and tediously mark every single one done. So get some of this set up so that you have some automations, and then we are on the storage setting. The notifications is a big one for me. So I had lots of notifications set up in the beginning that came into my email until I established trust and faith in what it was going to look like to work in Financial Sense. So I was having things come into my email so I could feel the feel and I could see what was happening. And then once I got the hang of everything being okay, I really don't want email notifications. What I want to do is come into Financial Sense in the morning and then work my way through the actual notifications that are in here. The things that I do want, though, is if my clients are sending messages. So if they send in something for me, then I want to know that the client has had involvement. But other than that, I want to come in, look at the work, and Marissa is great at keeping up her works. Marissa works for me. She's my bookkeeper and she's fabulous. And then I can come in and see what she's been up to without it hogging my email. The only time that I would change this is if I am traveling and I really just want to see what's going on in the background in my email. It's super easy to check on stuff then, so I can come in here and change some of these. And then the other time that I may change something is I take on hot mess files. So if I have a project file going on where it's a remediation file and I want to be more in the moment on that, because those catch-up files are generally urgent. So that's when I may change it to enable email notifications for just in the moment. The integrations, so your email would go in here, and then my QuickBooks is in here. And I don't have client auto sync set up. And the reason that I don't have that set up is because I have different business models than just needs to come into Financial Sense. So I do coaching of accounting people, I do speaking engagements. I don't want all of that work coming into here. And so I don't auto sync, but it is entirely useful to auto sync your QBO clients in here and keep that rolling along smoothly. The other thing that I have going on is it's not showing here, but I do have Zapier on the other side. So I have Zapier integrated, and then it is shipping contacts around. It's doing a few things for me with my other applications. I'm not going to show you my service items because I am mightily embarrassed on what a mess they are. I have way too many service items. Anybody else guilty of this? I have duplications. I have an e-commerce site, so it loves to duplicate things. And then I put in random service items. That problem is not in Financial Sense. That problem is Kellie in online. And then we have what we want the client tasks to look like. I love this feature. When this came in, it's these little quality of life features that I love. And this means that my client requests, when they are going out automatically, it is set to go out at 8 a.m. so that it is landing in their inbox in an entirely useful time. I don't want it to go out when it's partway through their day. I want them to come in and it's at close to the top of their email box. Any questions on settings? Oh, okay. So let's move on to a different slide. So as I mentioned, I get emails when it's time sensitive or traveling. It's off except for client chats. And now there are grouped notifications. So if your client does a bunch of things at once and then messages you, you don't get a whole bunch of notifications. You get a grouped notification on those. I wish see you all. It's always so weird to me when I am just kind of talking away to myself. So I wish this was like a meeting format. We were all saying hi, but anyways, hi. Okay, Canadian pricing. You need to call into support still. So not call in, you need to email support and ask for the new pricing in Canadian dollars. You can start on the monthly plan and then switch to the annual one at any point. But this is the actual pricing of the Canadian product now. So we know consistently what we're going to be paying each month. HST is coming, and so just be patient. They put this out, and now we are wrangling, as we all know, the HST on the billing side of it. And so again, call into support and get that changed. And then Len said, is the service it rates the billing rate or the rate to cost us? And in that workflow, is that the same or different? And thanks, Don. Len, can you define your question a little bit more for me? And yes, and Rachel can answer any more questions more deeply on the pricing. I just wanted to get it out there for you so that you can see what the Canadian pricing is going to look like. Okay, slightly off topic, but I thought it might be useful to give everyone a link. So in the slide deck that you're going to get, there is a link to the Taming the QBO sales tax module. It is a blog that outlines what the problems are. And essentially, I think a lot of us know the problem is almost always line 101, where our income is out. And the reason that the income is out is generally because if we are using the sales tax code for purchases, but we are using the sales tax code. Did that make any more sense? The sales tax code. So let's take a line item, for example. We are in a bank deposit and we make a negative line item to reduce a deposit to match in the bank fees. So Stripe fees are a great example of this. So we use negative line items for the Stripe fees, and it will actually try to get us to choose a sales code. So it will be exempt purchases as opposed to exempt. No, it will try to get us to choose exempt sales instead of exempt purchases. If you use exempt sales on an expense, it actually reduces line 101 rather than increase the expense. So you need to be really careful of this. We can control it somewhat in the deposit screen, but we just have to be careful. Where we cannot control it is in a sales receipt. So if you are using sales receipts and you have negative line items that are expenses, zero sum sales receipt would be a great example of this. And you have whatever it may be, maybe it's a tip payout or whatever, but it's an expense. It actually only defaults to exempt sales and will reduce line 101. So I've got this links on to talking about it more, but essentially you need to use a journal entry rather than a sales receipt in the case where you're going to have negative line items that are expenses, and just keep track of that. Out of scope is a tax code specific to QBO. It is not a CRA tax code. And so it is used to keep things completely off the sales tax return so that nothing is tracking to line 101 or to expenses in any way. And the place that you would really want to use the best description of it, it's out of scope, is anything that is related to, let's say, a liability. It's a bank account, so it's a current asset. It's a liability. it is anything that does not actually have HST on it in any way. So due to shareholders is out of scope. Transfers between bank accounts when you're doing journal entries, out of scope. If I think those are good enough examples, right, of what the difference is. Obviously, fixed assets, even though it's on the balance sheet, they may have HST on them, so they wouldn't necessarily be out of scope. But it is not a CRA tax code, and I know a lot of people get confused by that. And then, moving along. So I already mentioned this. So make sure you're using exempt purchases if it is an expense, just to keep things on track for line 101. Okay, I am just going to jump into the Q&A here because I see there's something. Will we have the templates? Heloise and hi. Could you let me know what templates you mean? There are templates built into Financial Sense. And then, the deck. Yeah, the slide deck is going to be available after. Would foreign purchases be out of scope? No, foreign purchases are not out of scope. So foreign purchases are exempt. Foreign sales are 0 rated. So Phil's asking the same thing. So I got a ruling on this. Foreign purchases, so subscriptions, for example, are exempt. Foreign sales, if you are selling into the US, are 0 rated. It is it is not, they both aren't 0 or exempt. Purchases 0 rated, expenses exempt. I mean, at the end of the day, I like details like this. I've seen files where they are using 0 rated on both if they happen to be selling into and buying into the States. Drives me a little bit wacky because I did get the ruling on it for my own business. But it's essentially going to be, there's not going to be a taxable component to it. 0 rated stuff like farm stuff. So yes, so Arlene, hi Arlene, and it was nice to see you the other day. So Arlene is asking 0 rated like farm stuff. So 0 rated companies within Canada are completely different animals than foreign sales. So the first question was really about foreign purchases and sales. When it comes to our rare birds like the farmers, then generally, I get a ruling by client. I don't do 0 rated here in Canada, so I can only speak to the foreign component of it. It's a Canadian webinar. Okay, so GST, PST, and WSIB. So I'm just gonna, would you have a checklist or legend key to help me choosing the correct tax rate? I do not, Janine, but if you reference the article that I gave you, it doesn't speak to 0 rated though. That's a good thing to maybe think about having though. I like that. So Janine's question was, would I have a checklist or legend to help choosing the correct tax rate? No, I actually, I don't. Interesting though. Okay, so GST, PST, and WSIB. For GST, I have 4 separate. I'm going to finish up with Arlene. Should I make a separate 0 rated kind of sales tax? Yes. So in QuickBooks Online, yes, you definitely need a separate sales rate for that where you create the sales tax. So GST, HST, I have 4 workflows. My clients don't file it for themselves, so I don't have a client-facing one. But I have using QBO sales tax module and NetFile. I have using a balance sheet hack that I have. So essentially, I created it is the balance sheet. Then I clicked on the account GST, and then I got rid of amount. I added in debits and credits. Phil, you've seen this party trick before too. I added in the debits and credits, and then of course I moved them all over to where I want to see them. This is in QuickBooks that I'm creating this report. So then I can see what it was, the credits and the debits, what they owe and what they are getting back for ITCs, and what the balance is. I use that even when I am using the QBO sales tax module so that I can actually double check that the balance sheet itself matches what's happening in the QBO module. But in some of the older legacy files, including my own file, the QBO sales tax module really didn't work. I've been on QBO like it's a drug since 2012, and then I was part of the migration to the new platform in 2014, and it didn't work for me. So if you find old clients that the QBO sales tax module is just continually a hot mess, this balance sheet hack works. And then I do a journal entry that moves it out of GST to accounts payable rather than into the suspense. But okay, so QBO sales tax module and net file, balance sheet and net file, and then both of those with wrap-up clients, because every one of them has different little things that we need to do. And so do we want to take a look at that? Sure. Why don't we take a look at that? I think I moved them into here. So this is outside the sales tax module with net filing, just to give you an idea of what that would look like. So I have put in the communications are in the description so that I can just send this email out. This cannot go out as an automated email because, of course, this is going to change every single time. But this is basically the reports to run, what we need, and then these are the subtasks because it is a bit of a job to get them done. So this is all of the subtasks for that, preparing and validating the GST. This is filing it using NetFile, and in there I have the link so that you could go directly to it. I have in the client files, I would have their NetFile code and their business number in here as well. I also have that as part of the custom fields. And that way it is always accessible for when we are net filing. We've got all that information right at our fingertips. And then it goes on with the other ones. The thing that I do though, so HST is always its own workflow. I don't have it built into a monthly workflow because there are so many details to it, and the validation is important. So even if they are a monthly filer and they are a monthly bookkeeping client, I always separate out my GST workflow so that I know precisely when that work is getting done super visually. It is super in my face. It's in Marissa's face. I also do the same for my quarterly filers, though. I have WSIB as a part of that workflow. So it is GST and WSIB. This is also where in the GST one, you could actually bump in your PST filings as well. Let's go back to our test client. And so HST and WSIB would look very much like this. WSIB, the site, man. Anybody love the site? Am I the only person who just shakes their head every time I have to go onto the GST? I don't know why. I don't like it, but anyways. And how many times is the anybody feeling my pain? How often is the WSIB site down? I don't think I'm alone in going there to do the reporting, and the silly thing is not there. So for my clients, I have, if they are on WagePoint, which is the payroll program, if they are on WagePoint, it is a different process because it is already being paid through WagePoint, but we still have to report it, of course. So that is essentially what is happening there. If the GST is monthly and the WSIB is quarterly, then obviously you're going to need another workflow for that. Any questions on GST and WSIB? Did I make everybody's face melt off? Okay, We need to do a gratuitous Canadian dogs in the snow photo. This is this little black and white one. That is my husband's dog. She is what we will call enthusiastic. And this brown and white dog, that is my dog. She is the most endearing dog on the planet. Oh. Okay. Client task list, gathering source documents. This is so different for us here in Canada that I wanted to speak directly to this. Financial Sense, I absolutely love how we collect things from our clients. It is incredibly useful for onboarding, on getting them to upload things. Let's just go make up some client tasks here. So we want to create a request list in here, and the request list, pretend this isn't WSIB anymore. Actually, let's just put a bookkeeping one in. Let's just put a bookkeeping one. And so we're going to do a template. We are going to do, how about bookkeeping? And let's just pick that one. And it's today, it's going to start, and it's going to be due on the 10th. Just to run through how nice it is to create these. The accounting period is monthly, and the month is November. Okay, we're going to create it. And then under the client tasks, we have upload the bank and credit card statements to Dext and upload all expenses, bills, and sales created outside of QBO, upload to Dext. And now we need to do something with these. I want a single place where my clients' source documents come into. I want that place to be Dext, because Dext is where I can action it. So whether it's Dext or whether it's HubDoc, what I want is everything to go into the same place. And in order for our clients to do that easily, we need to make it easy for them. And one of the ways that we can make it easy for them is that we can manage where it goes to. So in here, we would put in that I want it to go to Dext. And I have actually created a project for this, by the way. So hold on. I have created a project for this. Just give me 2 seconds to get to that project. Okay, I'm back. So in here is where my notes are. And in those notes are, and let's just go to them. Let's go to notes. We're going a little off topic, but this is so easy to search. So let's just search. You can see how easy it is to search for things. And so I have created a project that in the notes, I can use the buttons. So there's the button, and it will go to here. And then we will put in the upload link to Dext. And although they have to log into Dext, they don't have to fumble around to go to Dext. So now when the client comes in to do what we've asked them to do, all they have to do is hit the button, and it is going to upload to Dext for them. My clients really like this because it takes away a step of finding Dext to get to it or anything. All it does is open it right up for them, and then they can upload whatever it is we want. And I want all of the bank statements to go into Dext because that I want the clients to wind up with their bank statements back. And so Dext is connected to a storage folder that my clients control. So a long time ago, we would bring all of the clients a folder, and the folder on the inside would have the checklist. And then they would put in all of the things that we wanted. And then we would take the folder away with all of their source documents and their bank statements and everything we needed to do their work. And then we would do the work for them. And then we would give them back the folder. Since we've gone digital and paperless, I am finding that a lot of accounting professionals have become the guardians of their client's source documents. And this is really such a uniquely Canadian problem because we need those source documents. So now all of a sudden we become the guardian. They're going into Dext and then they're either just staying there or we're putting things into a storage folder that we control, whether it's our Dropbox or whether it's our Google Drive. Instead, what I have them do, HubDoc does this and Dext does this, is it is automatically downloading. As documents are going in there, they are downloading into a folder that the client controls. So we have connected the client's Dropbox account, the client's Google Drive account, so that they get all of their source documents back, just like we used to do. And we no longer have the security issues, the storage issues, all of the things that go along with controlling their source documents. If they get out of any of these applications, they already have everything that they need in the event of an audit or a sale of the business or whatever may happen. And one of the things that goes in there is always the bank statements, because then I've seen this. If a client gets rid of a bank and then they want their bank statements, they have to pay for them and they have to beg for them. So I try to make sure that always source documents, including the bank statements, are coming right back to the client so that they always have control of them. Okay, so the question is, what do you use for client portal since you use Dext for source documents? I use Financial Sense. So everything else is going in here. So when I first get engaged with a client, then I would get whatever documents I need from them that aren't necessarily source documents. So if I want to see their incorporation papers, I'm going to ask for them directly in Financial Sense. If I want to see, and hot mess files, if I'm taking on somebody just to be cleaned up and I'm not keeping them, pretty much everything goes into Financial Sense, because I'm probably not going to put them on Dext or HubDoc. So because I'm probably cash coding if they're that far behind. So everything that I need is coming into here, or a link to a folder. Everything for my clients that is not source documents is now coming into Financial Sense. And when I contract with them, those contracts are coming back in as files. So Financial Sense is my client portal otherwise. And I do actually use this function quite a lot. I chat with my clients, and when you are chatting with them, it is actually in real time. So as you're putting things in and they're answering, if you happen to have it open, you can see it. You can change things. It is live. So if you change a task or add a task in here, then it will update it for the client in real time as well. There isn't a delay. There isn't another need to log in or refresh. It actually just keeps adding those tasks even as they are looking at them. So manage your client uploads, get stuff where you want it to go related to the source documents. You can also disable client uploads altogether. I like this as well, because often I'm just asking them to do something. One of the things that goes out is I do weekly bookkeeping. And on Monday mornings, a request goes out asking them to refresh their bank feeds and make sure that they're connected. And if they aren't connected, then please reconnect them. Not that that happens. And so I don't want them to get confused by an upload button. That is perfect for a request like that. You can add attachments. So if you want to, say, send them a document of some sort or whatever, that can go in here, request the signatures. And then I like this too. We can comment on the tasks. My clients comment on their tasks quite a lot, in fact. Okay, will the return of source documents, I'm answering a question. Will the return of source documents in terms of the connection back to the client's Dropbox work with HubDoc like it does with Dext? Yes. Dext and HubDoc, everything is downloading in real time into folders. So it works. So the question is, does HubDoc work like Dext for downloading documents? Yes, it works very much the same. Okay, Cheryl is asking, how do you convince clients to go digital and upload? Mine say it's too much work and insist on printing everything. I'm drowning in paper. I feel for you, Cheryl. It is and I want to preface this. I want to preface this that I'm not just saying, oh, it's easy, just tell them to go digital. I am not saying that at all. Trying to get our clients to do what we think is best for them and best for us is really, really hard. The only way that you can do that is you're going to have to completely make it facing them what the benefits are. You're going to need to tell them that they no longer have to deal with these emails. They can forward it to HubDoc or Dex. They can forward, let's just say Dex for now, because it's one syllable. They can forward them to Dex to delete them. They're done. They can even create a rule where it forwards them. They don't have to have filing cabinets. They don't have to have ink and printers and all of the things. It's got to be facing how it's going to benefit them. I would rarely say, look, you're going to do this because it benefits me because I don't want to deal in paper. So get your value statement on that going. And then this is the part that I hope does not come across glib, because letting go of clients is hard. Vetting clients in the first place is hard. I don't take on a client that won't use my tech stack. That is part of my ideal client profile, is that they will use QuickBooks Online with the bank feeds connected, that they will use Dex to manage their source documents, that they will use WagePoint. I'm just throwing out what I use, whatever it is that you use. I mean, at some point, you're just going to have to get those. And I don't mean it to be glib. I know it's hard, but Cheryl, I don't have a lot of actionable requests other than get a value statement and get them into the routine of it. I feel for you. The only other thing, and I've heard lots of people do this, you're drowning in the paper. Some of my friends have turned that into a revenue source. Danielle, I think one of them is here. Danielle, why do I feel that you are one of them? Have turned it into a revenue source where if people want to bring paper, then they have to pay for you to digitize it somehow. And then some of them are literally having their kids digitize it, or they're having, so they bought a scanner and they're scanning it in and they're getting it in, but there's a charge for it. So again, there's not always easy answers on client management, but everything must face why it benefits them, not why it benefits us, in order to get them engaged in it. Okay. So as I mentioned, source documents are collected in Dex so that it can OCR them and do things for me and download them. Onboarding or offboarding requests are all gathered in Financial Sense. Hot mess files, almost everything is coming into Financial Sense. So it's only the source documents that I really need in that other spot. I already showed you, use the custom upload button. And then this is, as I mentioned, this is where I have the links to them. So I just keep that in this. And then all I would do is simply open another tab. While I am working, creating a template, I would open another tab that would have this information in there for me. Okay, Financial Sense features. Oh, okay, so client would need to create a login for the app to add documents and talk on the team chat. No. So this is what is really, no, just no. This is what is really nice about Financial Sense. Clients do not need to create an account. They don't need to create a login. It is frictionless for the clients. And as I mentioned, I take on the hot mess files, and those hot mess files are clients that aren't used to the way that I work necessarily, and I'm not keeping them. So how much am I going to engage in them? Every one of the hot messes that I've taken on since I've had Financial Sense understood their role in Financial Sense right away. I didn't need to do a training session on Financial Sense. It is in my client guidebook. I have a client guidebook. And in the client guidebook, it does tell people how to deal, that I'm going to use Financial Sense. We're going to request this through there. We're going to do that. And we can chat in there. But what makes it nice and frictionless is it is super easy for them to use and understand their role in it. when those requests go out, and I highly recommend you make yourself a client so that you can see what it's like to be a client in there and test drive it on yourself. And so they get a magic link. So you've got their email address in there as a client. You send the request, it goes out to that email address, and then all they have to do is click on the link to answer your questions, and then it will send them a code so that they can simply put that code in. They don't need to remember login information. They can save that for up to 30 days, I believe it is, so that they can continue to log in seamlessly. Okay, we're going to be doing a poll for a second. Go ahead, Rachel. And then I'm going to come back to the fun a little bit. Yes, will the webinar be posted on Financial Sense YouTube? It will be sent to the attendees. And oh, I'm going to put the slide deck in right now while we're doing this. So just give me a second. I'm going into the chat. And I just put in the slide deck. The slide deck, I believe, is going to go out. The recording is going to go out. It will be posted on YouTube. There's going to be so much Kelly out there. It's just going to be obnoxious. Okay. I think we are good on the poll. Rachel, do you mind if I just take that down? Okay. Okay, so poll. Now on to some Financial Sense features that I really like. This is by no means an exhaustive list. There is a ton of features in Financial Sense that I like, but I just want to talk about a few of them. Starting with the beauty of Financial Sense is it's remarkably simple, even though it has so many features. But what you need to keep in mind is you don't need to implement them all. Take some baby steps. Start with the things that are going to give you the most value, and then add in some other features. I have been using Financial Sense right since the beginning, and I have not put in all of the features, or I'm not utilizing all of the features. I'm utilizing the ones that are really, really going to work for me. And then maybe I'll come back to some of the other ones that will add value later when I have bandwidth to implement them, which I think starts next week. I think I'm getting my life back after next week. So pick the ones that you will benefit most from, and then work your way through the other ones. And so for some people, maybe dependencies isn't a thing that you want. So there's dependencies in the subtasks that you can't do something until another task is done. So for me, that would be, you can't do reconciliations until the client, or you can't do reconciliations until the bank feeds are clear. So it just stops the process. You can't do it. So, but maybe dependencies isn't something that is useful for you, but tag automators are. Then go all in on the ones that are going to give you some value and worry about the other features afterwards. So we love custom fields. The fields are for standard client information. This is the information that is going to be the same across all of your clients. So I need to know that if they have net file. I need to know their net file code. I don't do much rep a client because I'm about trying to get rep a client right now. So I need their net file code. I need their GST cycle. Is it monthly, quarterly, or annual? I need to know how it is filed. Is it net file, or is it rep a client? Is it filed through their bank for some reason? I need their Loom password. And if you are using Loom, please don't send videos to your clients. Don't share them openly. There are settings in Loom that you can make it so that they can only access it with their email address. And then they need to put in a passcode to get into it. You can Google how to password protect a Loom video. It is not intuitive. It's a few steps. But we have password protected our client's Loom video, and we need that password in there
for when we're making new videos, we need to know what the password is to put in it. What is their CRA number? When is their fiscal year end? So these are the fields that we need for each and every client. They are standard. And then it's got that beautiful dashboard view of all of the information of all of your clients. Love that view. We use notes super heavy. Notes are specific to a client. So they may not be across all clients. I have a client that I think we have 36 vendor notes because every vendor seems to have a high touch point and some weird thing. They do deposits that are coming in from a number of different sources. So, you know, whether that it's an accounting firm. So they are using Ignition, and then it's going to be coming in through QBU payments. They're using Pluto to receive some payments. And so the line reductions, we need to know about those because they're not going to match in the bank fee. We need to know what some of those groupings are monthly. And so all of these nuances, we love notes because you can search them. The notes are so incredibly searchable. I showed a quick demo of that before. You can search by the body copy, by the title, by words. It is highly searchable. So we absolutely love our notes and we use them heavily. We use them for 2FA backup codes for client apps. So one of the ways we get around the 2FA, if we are in a client application of some sort. So we have one client where we pull vendor invoices for them and we are using their log. All we're doing is getting invoices. We use their, so no judging. We are getting, we're logging in using their information, but we need the 2FA codes. So whenever those, we basically get the backup codes. If you don't know what, I think you know what the backup codes, but if you don't, then please just Google what are the 2FA backup codes. I have a blog on it on my website on how to use, how to do this as well. And so those backup codes are actually in the notes for the client apps so that we can go ahead and just pull those codes off as we need them. And that's how we circumvent the whole 2FA thing. And so all kinds of little nuances. We are using Vault in combination with 1Password for the logins, especially for those vendor logins. So we use notes, Uber, Squarespace, insurance, weird things that may be recurring or rules, but the rules aren't clear enough in QBO, or there could be changes. So the rules are more of a guideline, but then the final word is coming from our notes. So we use notes heavily. I already showed you the client that we have that has all of our notes, and it has the links to our SOPs so that those can be accessed in the moment as well. So one of the features we love is Marissa puts in notes and she tags me, and then I need to react to them. I don't want to peck out a note. All I need to do is acknowledge that I read them. So I love that I can just like her comments and that's it. We're done. I don't have to pack anything up or dream about it. So it's how I communicate using emoticons. So I like that I have it right in Financial Sense. It's okay for our apps to be fun too. You know, I already showed you the confetti. It's underrated fun in our applications. So, you know, confetti, like buttons, all of these things not only make our days easier, but they make them more fun. So thank you. Start a free trial with Financial Sense. That'll be in the slide deck. I have pre-built Financial Sense templates, workflow templates. There is a code that you need for them for 25% off. And then we've got a few little minutes left. So Janine said the little things really do matter. Yeah, so at Financial Sense, they call those the quality of life. Let's just stop sharing my screen. They call those the quality of life improvements. It's all of those things that just make our day a little bit more fun. Tony wants to know if I have a scanner recommendation for clients. I mean, the gold standard is kind of ScanSnap. Is it SnapScan or ScanSnap? That's the one that everybody seems to be using. I don't even have a scanner anymore, so I'm probably a lousy person to answer that question. So somebody says they love the confetti. As somebody put it to me, the confetti is so fun because mostly our apps nag at us to do things, and then they kind of make us feel bad when we don't do things. We just kind of feel like, oh, I didn't get it done. I got it. There's a whole list. This I find is like the positive reinforcement. I didn't tell Marissa that this was coming. So the first time she did it, she sent me a note right away and she was overjoyed. She thought it was so fun. Okay. So we have a couple of minutes left for two minutes left for questions if anybody has any. Thank you, Arlene. I feel like there's a hand up, but I can't see it. Nope, the hand is down. Okay. So no other questions? Then I think we can be done, right, Rachel?
Yes, Kelly. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. I have one other fun little detail. So the photo that you are seeing there that says Financial Sense on it, that is Tosin. That is the head of marketing for Financial Sense, and she lives in Edmonton. So fun little Canadian connection with Financial Sense. All right, everyone. As Lori said, have a great rest of the year, right? We are that close. So thank you for coming. I appreciate everybody's time today. And yeah, I think we're good to go. If you want to end the session, Rachel, that would be great.
Yeah.
Have a great
Yeah.
weekend.
Thank you. Bye.